What is going on, guys? My name is Cameron and welcome to the top 5 villains I want to see in the brand new Spider-Man PS4 game. Now keep in mind, all of these villains are my own opinion and I am taking into account all of the villains that we've had in Spider-Man games before and, you know, seeing how they turned out. For example, the Electro character in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game wasn't really that good, so Electro is not going to be in this video. So there's a bit of an example. Now before we jump into this, I do want to acknowledge that so far in the reveal trailer for Spider-Man, it seems like Mr. Negative is going to be the main villain. So Mr. Negative is going to be left out of this list because obviously it seems like he's already in the game. Now I'm thinking more along the lines of as if it was like the Batman games, you know, like how Joker was the main character but then there was like major villains as side characters like Penguin, Two-Face, etc. So if Mr. Negative is the main villain, then I'm going to be listing off some of the side villains that I want to see in this game. And so without further ado, guys, let's get into the top 5 villains I want to see in the brand new Spider-Man. Alright, so first up we've got Mysterio, and the reason I'm choosing Mysterio is because not only is he my favourite Spider-Man villain of all time, he's actually got a pretty interesting background and we haven't seen him in a while. Like, sure, he was in the Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions game, but before that, he was in Spider-Man PS1 and that was ages ago. Now as for Mysterio, I think it'll be interesting just to hear his Mysterio voice and it will really bring out Spider-Man's creative side when it comes to insulting Mysterio, you know, like calling him fishbowl head and stuff like that. I think that would be amazing to hear in the game. No pun intended. And I don't know whether you remember Mysterio's voice in the Spider-Man PS1 game, but that voice was awesome. So if they could manage to get that voice back, then it would be a dream come true.
I gotta say, you look just like me. Except, you're more angry back alley than friendly neighborhood.
Oh, for decades I've wanted to shut that mouth of yours. Finally, that time is upon me.
At last, I will crush you once and for all! Now, little spider, you will die!
Is it too late for us to be friends?
Now moving on over to a villain that I don't think we've seen in a Spider-Man game before, and if we have then I've probably missed it. It's Hydro Man. And the reason I say this villain is because Hydro Man is a very personal villain to Spider-Man's life, and not only Spider-Man's life but Peter Parker's and Mary Jane's life. Hydro Man is actually an ex-boyfriend of Mary Jane's, and if Mary Jane is Peter Parker's girlfriend in this Spider-Man game, then that gives Peter a personal agenda to take this villain down. Now in the Spider-Man 90s cartoon, at the time Hydro Man was going after Mary Jane didn't know that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, so Spider-Man kind of had to stop this villain without revealing to Mary Jane that he was Peter Parker and he cared for her. So I think that would be an interesting twist to have in the game, and not only that, but you're fighting water. Like, how would you beat that? The only way to beat water is to evaporate it or mix it with sand or something like that. I don't know. Maybe even freeze it, but I don't actually think that works in the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, so that is not an option. So it would really add an interesting twist on fighting the villain as well as like thinking about how you're going to take him down. And he hasn't really been used yet, so I'd like to see how Insomniac Games utilizes this villain. Now the storyline of Hydro Man in the Spider-Man 90s cartoon actually leads up to Mary Jane having the power of water and eventually evaporating and you figuring out that she's a clone and evaporates to death. But I'm sure we can leave that out of the game. Moving on to our next villain, it has to be the Chameleon. And to be honest, it seems like the Chameleon doesn't really have that many powers or has any powers at all. But because he has access to turning into anybody he wants to, it can really mess up Peter's personal life and Spider-Man life, just like in the cartoons. For example, in the cartoons, Chameleon has become Peter Parker and messed up his personal life in Spider-Man 90s cartoon, in the Spectacular Spider-Man series, in the Ultimate Spider-Man comics, and he even became Spider-Man in the Spectacular Spider-Man series, messing up his Spider-Man reputation as well. I think also a good reason to choose the Chameleon as a villain is because he's not only targeting Spider-Man, like he can target anybody he wants. And as you've already seen in the game, if you've seen my trailer analysis video of this Spider-Man game, I actually pointed out that Norman Osborn will be running for mayor. Now what if it's not actually Norman Osborn, but the Chameleon pretending to be Norman Osborn? You see what I'm getting to here? These are the sort of things you can get yourself into when the Chameleon is in this game. And usually the Chameleon is like hired out by other people, so really the Chameleon will just be one piece leading to a bigger story. And I think that'll be really interesting to see, and I want to see him in this game. Next we have Dr. Octopus, and I actually surprised myself with this one, but I think he's big enough in the comics now to have a genuine part in this game. Regardless of whether it's Superior Spider-Man or as Dr. Octopus, either way, he has caused some serious damage to Spider-Man over the years in the comics. And as Insomniac Games mentioned, they are thoroughly going through all of Spider-Man's history, picking out his best moments, picking out his worst moments, and breaking it all down and putting it into this game, and I think Dr. Octopus is a major part of his history. Now, we haven't really fought Dr. Octopus since the Spider-Man 2 game years ago. I mean, we did have that girl version of Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, but that doesn't really count. And last but not least, guys, the final villain is Venom. And believe me, I think this is like, you know, like the most obvious choice for a Spider-Man villain. Like, yeah, it's Venom, it's like his arch nemesis, blah, blah, blah. But the reason why I'm choosing Venom in this case is because Insomniac Games are focusing more on the characters such as Peter Parker instead of Spider-Man. And so I think that they should probably focus more on the Eddie Brock character than the Venom side of things. Like, what makes Eddie Brock hate Peter Parker so much? Why does he want to do this? Why does he want to do that? Show him having trouble controlling the symbiote. And you don't necessarily have to introduce the black suit just because Venom is in the game. I mean, you can easily just have Venom and have Spider-Man have already worn the black suit, considering this is an experienced Spider-Man, this is an older Spider-Man, so he could have even encountered Venom before. And the way I picture it is, you know, like the Eddie Brock / Venom out of the Spectacular Spider-Man TV series? That was such a good Venom, that was an awesome Venom. And that is something that I want to see in this game because it focuses more on the Eddie Brock side of things. Especially if they go with the route of the Spectacular Spider-Man series where Eddie Brock and Peter Parker were originally best friends. I mean, in the cartoon, they called each other bro. Like, that is a next level type of friendship, and to see that maybe break down in this game and then Eddie turn into Venom or be already Venom and just like, it can lead to some interesting personal Peter Parker interactions right there. And maybe having flashbacks to when Peter Parker and Eddie Brock were friends and then seeing them now hating each other, etc. It can just get so crazy. And yeah, I do know that Venom is obviously like not the best choice as a villain because we've seen him be done so many times in the past in terms of like, well, especially in the Spider-Man 3 video game, I think he was horrible in that. But anyway, guys, that is the end of this video of my top 5, but I do have a few honourable mentions such as Kingpin, Hammerhead, Shocker. Shocker actually nearly made it into this list, and I'd like to think that he probably still is in this list, but just out of the 5, I think it would be interesting to have maybe a few different characters other than the characters we've already had in video games. Like, we had Kingpin and Shocker both in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game, and they weren't really done too well, so it kind of put me off those characters a little bit. But since this new Spider-Man game has Mr. Negative in it, it seems to be leaning a little bit more towards the crime side of things. So Hammerhead, Kingpin and Shocker do seem to fit into that category quite well. So I also hope they are in the game as well. And of course, you can't forget about Green Goblin because Norman Osborn is in the game as Mayor, or at least he's mentioned in the game as Mayor anyway. So I expect an appearance from Green Goblin. So yeah. Anyway, guys, that is it for this video. What did you think? Let me know in the comments section below. Do you agree with my choices? Are there some changes that you would like to make? Let me know in the comments below, giving me your top 5 villains that you would like to see in the Spider-Man PS4 exclusive game. And for all news and all updates first on this game, you can follow me on Twitter because literally everything that gets put into my videos is most likely mentioned on my Twitter first. So if I do something about the Spider-Man game, it will most likely be on my Twitter first in terms of me retweeting the article that I've seen it in or something like that, or retweeting a picture or a link to a video where the developers are talking about the game. So for all the updates, follow me on Twitter, the link is in the description, and you can also follow me on my Facebook page as well, the link is in the description also. And last but not least, guys, if you like this video, hit the like button, and if you like this content, if you like this YouTube channel, of course hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time.